Now, the rest of the story.
I think we're due for a bunch of snow, the last I checked. I brought up my first load of hay from the valley of, well, the cow's doing exactly what I need them to do. They're recycling, and I have some bales that were a little, well, had more moisture in them when I baled them than I would have preferred to have in them. And they didn't keep as well as they really should have. Now, the hard part's doing this without dropping everything. So 76 is officially fixed. Works so much better than what it did before. And about the best look I've gotten of my cow herd in a while. All but 4 of these are mine. So let me pull this off quick. It's pretty much the biggest share of what winter is for us. It's just taking care of cattle. And prepare yourselves for all of my regular viewers. You are going to be, well, seeing a lot of cattle videos going forward here, because the big influx of cattle I got around has definitely sparked my interest in wanting to do more videos with the cows. Not every video is going to be cows, trust me, but going through and feeding them like we are, I mean, going through more feed, you get up to more realistic, more higher managed numbers. You actually start getting somewhere faster versus only dealing with, 10, 15 head of cows. And I'm upwards of 30. I'm going to be pushing 50 pretty hard going into next year, if not more. So the heifers, you're going to see a lot more of these guys. This is one of them. I had like 9 of them. 9 of them out of that particular group, that little one that was kind of getting a little curious. Extremely happy with how they're turning out. I mean, they're basically photocopies of the ones I had in high school, and it really pained me to get rid of them like I did. And having a group of similar heifers around, similar cows around, I'm probably going to be focusing pretty heavily on trying to keep replacements out of them. So back to me talking. And these guys, these are part of them. I consider myself really lucky or fortunate I picked these up. That's half of them. All these with the yellow tags in their right ears. They are basically exactly, or really darn close to the herd of red heifers, red Angus, registered reds I had in high school, which I had to sell them during the drought year for, reasons. But I'm incredibly happy. I'm back to a substantial number of red cattle. I have more red cattle than I've had essentially ever, but these guys, I'll be focusing on keeping all heifers out of these guys and culling out some of the lesser quality cattle, I guess I should say. More or less just picking and choosing which ones I'm going to keep. But I get around 50 head or so. I think I'll be pretty happy. I'm essentially looking at, I'll be feeding hay to something year-round, which I accept. We got a couple pastures that we could get back up online. That is going to be a project looking forward here, and figuring out what works best. Having a dedicated spring and fall group of cows will allow me to utilize some of these pastures rather than just having a dedicated, this is the only herd that I'll be managing, because that was what was always getting me. I put the bull in with them June to August. Well, okay, kind of hard to put cattle in 4 or 5 different pens when I only have just, well, at the time 1 or 2 bulls. Right now I'll be looking like I'm going to have 2 or 3, and part of me is still considering going and buying a 4th red Angus bull and going for, something with high-end genetics yet, or better quality, higher quality genetics yet. So I'm going to have a bunch of black cows in my herd for the foreseeable future, But long term, I'll probably pretty well be all red Angus or reds. So we're gonna let the cows chew on that one. We're gonna go grab another bale. These bales that are coming from the valley, there's nothing really super duper wrong with them. It's just that they settled a little bit, so they're not as tight and round as I'd like them to be. So all we're doing is dumping bales in, letting them chew what they can, what they want, and if the core has, you know, heated or settled or anything where they don't want it, they won't eat it, we'll just pull the feeder off and the cows can knock it around and chew what they want off of it. A small pile of manure here. Ryan came through and I had him scrape all this up. We're supposed to get back down below freezing here in the next week. They're calling for a fairly good chance of rain this upcoming Monday, and then by Thursday they're calling for a 70% chance of rain. So trying to keep everybody dry. Not really planning on putting another fodder bale in for them here yet tonight. With the number of cattle I got in here, which, what do I got? With those dads, I think I got over at 42, I think, total, just in this group. So 2 bales don't last for forever. So we wait a couple of days, a day or two. We'll put a couple more bales of fodder in for them. And not trying to really burn through the bedding just yet. It's still January and we get a wet spell, then these bales that I'm not really going through right now might not last us till spring if I'm not careful. So we have all of the dry bales in the shed. We have all the dry bales up on the hill that are wrapped. Those are all fodder. The intentions are to feed those pretty well dead last. I actually had but I baled it, but I had Dad go through and rake up another strip of fodder late fall like we did, with the intention of net wrap dragging behind him, with the intention of I needed a little bit more bedding because I wasn't sitting as good as I thought I was. But I don't think I want to try taking this off one-handed. Nope. I really don't expect that. This is actually third cut that I brought up from the valley, and it's really fine from being third cut, because generally grass, you get the coarser stem with your first cutting, and any subsequent cuttings the grass is a little bit finer and the cattle just go right through it like it's candy. So this stuff, you can see they're already going after that first bale, and even down here, what was left of that previous bale that was in the feeder, the cows are just mulling it right over and making good use of it. They really don't have a whole lot for waste, even on, I call them lower quality bales. It's not like I couldn't have taken these bales to the sales barn. I know I could, and I'd at least hit my break even on them, but because of the added group of cattle I am now feeding and taking care of, I'm trying to not completely sell myself short on feed, at least on the lower quality stuff, until I get closer to spring and closer to a next cutting, because I do have a bunch of ground that I seeded down last year. Not a huge amount, but it makes up for the little bit of ground I'd lost the previous year. And of course, with the valley, I'm making plenty of feed, and feed is expensive any way you want to look at it, but that's good. I don't think he saw me. He was looking to see if I wanted him to do another fodder bale. They're good for today. He's gonna go pull the rest of the bales off that bale wagon, and we'll be that. So I'm looking forward to having more cattle to watch, to manage going forward. I really am. I mean, I'm a crop guy. I like raising corn and beans, but I do like cattle. And our farms, Grandpa had our farm set up for raising cattle. I mean, if we if we just went purely to crops, there's so much of these farms that would be underutilized. It'd be a shame, because just trying to rent the pasture out, no one is going to pay to rent the pasture or pay to rent the cattle buildings for what we would get out of them doing it ourselves. So I would rather have the cattle around and at least have them in a decent number of cattle. Like for me, 50 head minimum, up to like really high up there, like unrealistically of me having that many, like any one person of us, 150 at the most. But I don't see me wanting to go that far. I think right around that 50 head group would go a long ways. So my fingers are froze. I know it's getting dark, and I know that it's showing up on screen, but I don't exactly know if you guys can see what I'm trying to show you. But we got more videos I'm willing to film going forward here. It's just that I had that lull period where I was beyond busy with stuff that isn't going to be posted online, and that needed 100% of my attention. So I'm hoping I can at least try to keep a little bit of a presence posting here through spring. I haven't done anything on the planter. Ryan's taking care of that. There's stuff that I'm going to talk to you about the planter with, just because it's relevant. And January is about over. That's the scary thing. Normally January, February too, those are the worst months of the year for me, just because it seems like they drag by. But they are also the 2 months of the year where I get a chance to slow down and take a breath and relax. And by the time we hit March 1st, I'm already looking around and getting stuff put together for the upcoming year. And things just really haven't slowed down since harvest. So I did, as far as tillage goes, I did 10 acres of chisel plowing. Otherwise, Dad, Andrew, Ryan, who else helped? Dale did a bunch of ground up a bunch of fodder for me. I really wasn't around too much for fall tillage, fall work after harvest. So, but with that, I can't feel my fingers. So stay tuned for more farming videos going forward on the rest of the story.